Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining me for this episode of my podcast where I'm reading through my book, The Ultimate A to Z of Business English Idioms. It's a big book, and today we're tackling the letter H. These are all business English idioms starting with the letter H. There's quite a few to get through. Now, at the end of this episode, like with all of my podcasts, there will be a little bit of a quiz to make sure you've remembered and understood all the meanings of these essential business English idioms, starting with H. Let's go. For those of you who have my book at home, we're going through page 57. 57, and let's see how long H is. We're going through page 57 and 58 of the book. If it's the podcast and don't have the book at home, fine. Just relax, enjoy. I'm going to go through these idioms with the meaning, with the definition, and I'll give you lots of examples. So just by listening to this podcast, you'll have enough examples to really understand what these idioms mean, how to use them, and you'll definitely recognize them when you hear them next time. And for those of you who are watching the video, I'll just put the page of my book up on the screen. Okay, let's jump into H. The first one is half-baked. This is great. Half-baked. I'm going to read you the meaning in the example here, and then I'll dive a bit deeper into it. Half-baked, an idea or plan that's not developed. Think about muffins in the oven, or a cake in the oven, or bread in the oven. If you don't cook that item long enough, it's going to be half-baked. It's not going to be ready. So this is what it means basically in business English. So example, the forecast is half-baked and needs more data. So someone puts together a forecast for the next quarter, but there's not enough data in there. So it's not done. It's not ready. It's not ready to be eaten or consumed because it's only half-baked. So if you're in a planning session and you can say, this is a great idea, but this is quite a half-baked idea. We need to fully bake it. You wouldn't say that, but you can say this is a half-baked idea. We need to do a lot more until this is a good idea that we can actually use. So anytime something is not really fully developed and needs more work, it's half-baked. Or why did that marketing strategy fail? Well, it was a half-baked marketing strategy. We just kind of copied the one from last year and used it this year. We didn't really adapt to the current year's forecasts and the resources we have and the clients we have. So it wasn't ready to be used yet. So if you're working in management and you want to, talk to your team about an important project or working with very important clients, you can say to them, listen, we can't send out anything half-baked. Like you just can't do work 50%. You have to actually make sure everything's completed correctly and fully developed before you send anything to the client. So half-baked is great. It just means it's not fully ready. It's not fully done. It needs more work, half-baked. We often use it with a half-baked idea, saying, why did that fail? Well, it was a half-baked idea. That idea wasn't fully developed. It's a good one. Next one is hammer out. Well, if I'm building something, I'm going to have a nail and I'm going to have a hammer. Okay, so hammer out is quite, anytime we use a word like hammer, hammer just means there's power and impact, right? So this is quite a strong word in business English. I'll read you the meaning and give you an example here. So meaning to work out details through discussion. Okay, so work out, you probably know the phrasal verb work out. And this workout has multiple meanings. Of course, you know the gym you work out, but work out also has a meaning to find a different meaning, to find a solution to a problem, to work out. We need to work out what to do with, client B, they're late on payment. So like figure out is a synonym for workout. Hammer out is similar, but hammer out is like you're hitting hammers. Like there's a lot of impact. So it's really strong discussion. So if you need to solve a problem, you can work out a problem, work out a solution, figure out a problem, figure out a solution. But if you need to hammer it out, it means you're going to sit in the meeting and you're not going to leave that meeting with people until you found a solution. So this means when a solution has to be found in a short amount of time with a lot of dynamic conversations, a lot of input, we'd use hammer out here. I'll read the example for you. The team spent hours trying to hammer out the final details of the contract. Okay, so let's say you have a contract and the client's not totally happy with the terms and you're not totally happy with the terms. You have to figure out the terms of the contract. You have to work out the terms of the contract. Well, if there's a deadline, you have to hammer it out. So there's a lot more like a hammer, like you're hitting it really hard. So whenever you have to find a solution to a problem, fix details, you want to say hammer out. Now, once things are hammered, and think of a nail and a hammer. Once I hammer something with a nail, that thing is secured. It's not moving. So there's a little element of when we use hammering something out that we're going to figure out a solution to this problem, and then it's going to be set. It's going to be solid. It's going to be good. So this is really great. So for example, you have a new shipping route you want to work with your company, and you're looking at different ways to get to, I don't know, to your logistics center. And there's a couple different ways to go. Well, you do need to get this going. You have a big shipment going out. You need to hammer out the details. So let's just sit down. And usually this is rarely one person hammering things out. Usually it's people working with a team, at least two people. We need to hammer out the details of this new logistic route, or the new provider we're working with, which means we can't just talk about it, can't just lightly solve the problem. No, we have to hammer this out, solve the problem, get it fixed, and then it's set, and we can kind of forget about it and go on. So this is kind of a tricky one to teach. I hope you're getting the gist of this. The gist means the overall meaning, but hammer out, to work out details with a lot of energy, a lot of determination, and there is a solid goal of fixing those details. Okay, that's hammer out. Next one here is have a lot on your plate. Well, if you've ever seen my husband at a buffet, have a lot on your plate. This is exactly what it is. So have a lot on your plate at a buffet, and there's a lot on your plate. Well, if my husband were to be at a buffet and fill his plate, which he does, there's not an empty centimeter there. If you go to a buffet, you fill your plate. If you have a lot on your plate, well, that could fall off, or the plate could break. So this is what it means in business English. If you're incredibly busy, if you've in your plate is your capacity, and if you've taken on so many extra projects, so many extra tasks, so much work, you can say, I have a lot on my plate right now, which means you don't have a spare centimeter. You don't have any availability, any time, any breathing room for anything. It just means you're flat out completely busy. I'm going to read you here the meaning and definition. Meaning, have a lot on your plate, to be very busy with a lot of tasks. Example, I have a lot on my plate now, so I can't squeeze you in this week. To squeeze someone in means my schedule is completely full, but I have a little, maybe 30-minute gap here. Okay, I can squeeze you in here, like to squeeze a lemon. So to squeeze someone in means you're going to fit them into a really busy schedule. So if you have a lot on your plate, it means you're just at your max capacity with tasks and responsibilities. So I mean, we've all been there. We've had a lot on our plate. If you have a lot on your plate for too long, you're going to be burnt out. So if you do find you have a lot on your plate at work, you go talk to your manager, or you go talk to HR saying, listen, I have a lot on my plate. I'm managing it now, but I can't manage this going forward. Can I get some help on this task? Or if you're talking about having a lot on your plate at work, and you can say, your manager gives you a new task. Can you take this on? I've got a lot on my plate right now. I just really can't take it on. Because again, think about a plate, or my husband at the buffet. If he puts too much on there as he walks, something's going to fall off. So when we say I have a lot on my plate, it just means I'm at max capacity. Like things are going to fall. I'm going to make a mistake, or I'm going to get behind on something if I have more than I can actually handle and manage. So if you need to decline work or tasks that are given to you, you say, I have a lot on my plate right now. I can't take this on. And that's a great way to say it. It just means I'm very busy and at max capacity. Next one here is have someone's back. Okay, so back is your spine, right? There's a verb in English, to back. And if you back someone, you support them. So if you have someone's back, this is different but kind of connected. If you have someone's back, you support them. You support them. It means you're going to be there. If they can rely on you, you're a colleague who's going to be dependable. You support them. You're aligned together. I'll read you the meaning and example here. To have someone's back, to support or protect someone. Example, I'll have your back if the client asks tough questions during the presentation. Okay, so and it's true, support or protect someone. So for example, maybe in your department you have a team lead, and some of the other staff are complaining about the team lead being too strict. Well, so you get the team lead into your office and say, listen, people are complaining you're too strict. And the team lead can say to you, well, we have these deadlines and they're not reaching the deadlines. And we have these KPIs, they don't reach the KPIs. So yeah, I'm pushing them. So then as staff come to complain to the manager about the team lead, the manager can say, listen, I have your back. Don't worry. It means I'll protect you from their bad thoughts, from their complaints about you, or anything that may happen, with upper management, with you and your management style or your team leading style, saying, I'll have your back. I'll protect you if anyone criticizes you. And then the manager can say, listen, I have the team leads back here. I mean, you guys are not meeting your KPIs. You guys are not meeting deadlines. So yeah, so things will get more strict. So this is what it means to have someone's back. So, and again, it could just be to support someone. So I have to give a presentation. Maybe this is my first presentation I've ever given. But my manager or my colleagues can say, listen, I have your back. If you need me to step in, I'll step in. Or just like in my example from the book, if a client asks difficult questions that, that's not, if they ask finance questions, well, I don't work in finance. I work in shipping. So if they ask financial questions, then, the finance manager can say, don't worry, I'll have your back if they ask difficult questions. So I'll support you. I'll be there for you. Let's take a look at next one here. To have the upper hand. I don't know if in your culture, in your country, you ever do this thing as kids, and you want a group of kids in a circle, and they put their hand in, the next person puts their hand, and they all put their hands, and the hands pile up. Well, I don't know if you guys do that, but we do that in my culture, as kids. So to have the upper hand just means you have control, you have power in a situation. Let me read you the example and a definition here. Have the upper hand, to be in a position of advantage or control. Example: we have the upper hand since our line has A-list endorsement. Okay, endorsement is when someone says, oh, you must buy this smartphone, it's the best smartphone. And A-list means it's a top celebrity. So to have the upper hand, you're in a position of power or advantage. So for example, maybe your company's looking to expand, and you're expanding into, let's say you're expanding into Germany, and maybe your VP of sales, he's German. So you can say, okay, we have the upper hand in these negotiations because he speaks German, plus he speaks English. He'll be able to help a lot with the negotiations. So we're in a position of advantage for that reason. Or to have an upper hand on the market. Maybe there's a chocolate seller, a chocolate manufacturer, and the one chocolate manufacturer already has all the certifications needed for a new market. And so with the competitors, who's going to do better? Well, my buddy's company will do better because they're already certified. They have the upper hand. So they already have themselves in a position of being an advantage, or they're a little bit further than anyone else. So that's this position of power or advantage, to have the upper hand. Again, this could come into an interview. So if you're interviewing for a new candidate for a role in your company, and you have two great candidates come in, we can say this guy has the upper hand, meaning he has a bit more influence over our decision because he has 2 more years experience, or he has already has connections he's coming in with. So for whatever reason, he's kind of a step above other people. He has the upper hand. He has an advantage. And he's in a position of a bit more power or influence. Okay, one more here, and we're going to take a look at, to have your work cut out for you. Now, to have your work cut out for you is to have a lot of work. It's not like having a lot on your plate. That's like my plate, and I have a huge amount of things. To have your work cut out for you, it means you have a lot of work, but the work is not necessarily in quantity, it's difficult. So if you have a big challenge and a task or a job or something you have to do that is not going to be easy to succeed in or to reach your goals in, you can say you have your work cut out for you. I'm going to read you the meaning here. To have your work cut out for you, to have a difficult task to complete. With the tight deadline and being short staffed, you really have your work cut out for you. So this is a perfect example. A difficult situation. You have a very tight deadline and 2 members of staff call in sick for a week. It's a horrible situation. So you have your work cut out for you. You have a very difficult task to achieve. It's going to be really hard for you to reach those goals. So anytime, whatever situation you're in, it's not, from the very beginning to the end, where you reach your goal, where you reach your target, it's not going to be smooth sailing. It's not going to be easy. You can say, I have my work cut out for me. Or you can even say that our department has its work cut out for them. So you can change that pronoun, my work cut out for me. She has her work cut out for her. like that. So if perhaps you have a colleague and she's looking to get a raise, and right now the company says, no, we're not giving raises out this quarter, but she's determined to go sit and talk with the HR manager. And you can say, okay, you can go talk to the HR manager, but you have your work cut out for you, meaning this is not going to be easy. It's going to be a very difficult task. Okay, continuing along with H. As I'm looking at this book, I'm just like, wow, there's so many great idioms here. I mean, every letter has lots of great idioms, but H is really gold for idioms. Also R and S and T, but certain letters just tend to have a lot more idioms that we use in here. When I wrote this book, I mean, I put in over 300 idioms, but I originally had about 600, and then I'd have to go through lots of my business dialogues and really kind of put it down to the ones that are mostly used. I wanted to focus this book on people who are using English globally. So not just some random idiom that, of course, you could learn any vocabulary you want, but these are the top idioms used for business. And H is just has so many good ones in here. Okay, let's continue. So next we have heads up. Now, if you're working in business already, you probably know heads up. If you don't know heads up, you need to know heads up. This is one of the most common, well, it's actually a phrasal verb, heads up. In fact, it's one of the most common idioms that we do use in business English. Heads up just means advance warning. And I probably use it weekly, if not weekly, 2 or 3 times a week. It's very, very common. So let me read you the example here and the meaning. Heads up, a warning or advanced notice. Example, just a heads up, the client might call to discuss some last minute changes. So this is really common. If you need to talk to someone in your office, if you're walking through your office and you have to tell someone about a warning or give them some kind of advance notification for something. Oh, a heads up, the boss is going to come in later and he's not in a good mood. Or you can talk to your client saying, heads up, I'll send you the contract before 2 o'clock today. Just means I'm just letting you know what's coming. Or if you're going to an online call and you know you're going to be delayed by a little bit, maybe your computer reboot itself. That's always nice. Then you can say, heads up, I'm just running 5 minutes behind, or heads up, I'll be 5 minutes late. So it just means advance warning for people. And now when someone gives you advance warning for something, you can say, they tell you, we'll send a courier over in 5 minutes, or 5 minutes, no courier works that fast. We'll send a courier over for you in the next 5 hours with the updated contract. And your response can be, thanks for the heads up. And this is perfect for spoken English. It's perfect for in-person conversations, and it's great for texting and emails as well. So heads up, you can say thanks for the heads up, or here's a heads up, or just a heads up. This is beautiful. If you don't know this one, you need to work with it. You need to incorporate it. This is incredibly common. Okay, next one is heads will roll. Heads will roll. Well, think of the guillotine and the French Revolution and Marie Antoinette. Heads will roll. This is the guillotine, where they put people's heads in that contraption and cut their heads off. Then I guess the heads would roll. I don't know. This is an old idiom. We still do use heads will roll. It just means people are going to be punished. Let me read you the meaning and example here. Heads will roll. People will be punished for something. Example, heads will roll if we miss the deadline. Okay, so business is business. There's a lot of pressure in business. And sometimes, if someone or some department drops the ball means, the ball is your responsibility. This is in my D, my D video of my book. If someone drops the ball, it means they had a responsibility in their hands. They let it go. They did not fulfill their end of the responsibility. They did not do the work expected of them. They made a mistake. They dropped the ball. So if you have a really, really important project and someone makes a mistake, or a department makes a mistake, you can say heads will roll, which means management's going to come in and they're going to be firing people or giving people warnings or screaming at them or taking away bonuses, whatever the case may be. So in any moment in business where someone is going to be punished, and again, punishment could even be if they'll cancel a contract with a supplier. So you have a supplier and they bring you the raw goods for maybe you manufacture pens, right? You manufacture pens. So you have one of your suppliers sends in the erasers, and the suppliers, the last time the erasers came in the wrong color, and the second time the erasers came in a week late. So you can say, if this supplier sends us the wrong erasers again, or there's a delay, heads will roll, which means I'm going to call that supplier saying, listen, this contract, we're no longer working with you, or you need to give us a major discount. So they'll be punished for that. So this is what it means, heads will roll. Okay, next one, head in the clouds. So if you have your head in the clouds, it just means you're not really down on earth with the rest of us. Okay, so we've all probably been in situations where we work with someone and they're just kind of la-di-da around at their daily life. They're not so worried about business or day-to-day things, or they always seem to be dreaming or thinking about something else. This is having your head in the clouds. I'm going to read the meaning for you, an example. Head in the clouds, to be distracted or delusional. Delusional is dreaming. Example, he had his head in the clouds and missed key points of the meeting. Okay, yeah, so if you're in a meeting, and sometimes meetings drag on. To drag on just means time is longer than it should be, and the meeting is longer than it should be. A lot of meetings drag on. So if you're in a meeting and the meeting drags on, well, after 30 minutes, and they're talking about something that's not related to your department, they're talking about things that no, you're just in the meeting, but you don't really need to be there. You probably just are going to think about something else. So what am I going to do this weekend? Or what should I do with client B? Or you'll have your phone and you'll just be like, texting your team. Well, you're not really paying attention. And so you can say, oh, I missed, and they can come to you with a question. And you can say, sorry, my head was in the clouds, meaning I wasn't fully focused on this. Usually it's quite negative to have your head in the clouds. So if you give someone a task and they forget it, or like, did you say that? I'm not sure you said that. Yes, I said that. We'd say their head is in the clouds because they're just kind of not connected to like what we're doing here. So this is something that does describe people, and it's a good way to talk about people who are not really focused on business and they're kind of dreaming or a little bit delusional too. So delusional means you're dreaming a bit too high. So maybe sales come in and they do this big pitch to the company saying, listen, we need this massive ad budget because we're going to launch this, and this is going to be amazing. This is going to be a game changer. We're going to make 4.5 billion on this next project and this next product rollout. And then the analytics team could be, well, they got their heads in the clouds, meaning like they're dreaming, they're dreaming beyond dreaming, they're delusional. So it just means you're kind of disconnected to like what's going on here. That's a good one. Okay, next one, high and dry. High and dry. This is a good one. I'll read you the meaning first. High and dry, to be left in a difficult situation without help or resources. When the company went bankrupt, the employees were left high and dry. Okay, so to be left in a difficult situation without help or resources. This is really, really common when you're working on group projects and you have a team working together on something important, and then someone goes on holiday for 2 weeks, or someone gets sick, or someone doesn't do their end of responsibility. So they left you high and dry. They left you in a situation where you're like, I wasn't expecting this. So to leave someone in a difficult situation. So originally they had that support, but someone has left or something has left. So for example, maybe in your company you work in R&D, research and development, and the government provides little bits of grants for research and development. Well, and you have your plan for the next 2 years of what you're going to research and develop, and maybe the government cut that program. So now your department is left high and dry on the research of product B. So it just means we're kind of, oh, we had that, now we don't have it, so we're kind of left in a situation of what do we do now? So really, when something or someone leaves a situation, and then that what's left is left high and dry, that person's like, what do I do without financing? Or I don't know, you get fired from your job, you're high and dry. You had a job this morning, you got fired, now you're high and dry this afternoon. You're like, what do I do now? I'm in a difficult situation because something left me. That's high and dry. It's a very good one. Next one, hit it off. Hit it off is fantastic. Hit it off is when you have a very quick, natural, productive, and genuine relationship with someone. Now, this could be romantic friendship, business relationship, any relationship. Doesn't matter what it is. But as soon as you guys kind of come together, it's a very great productive, real relationship or friendship. I'll read you the meaning and example here. Hit it off. To quickly form a good relationship with someone. And example, our new marketing manager and the CEO hit it off immediately, which makes life easy. Okay, so I mean, of course, you work with people. I mean, if you do work with people, some people, entrepreneurs, they work independently. But if you work with people, you're going to have your close colleagues. And maybe it took a while to hit it off with them. So it means at first you weren't really close friends with them, but you formed a good relationship, or maybe you hit it off with them right away. So it just means to form a good relationship with someone. And again, it could be romantic, it could be friendship, it could definitely be business. And we use it in business a lot. So wow, the client, extended the contract really easy. Oh yeah, him and the sales manager really hit it off. So it just means they have a good relationship. They trust each other and they want to work together. Or you were gone for a long time for lunch. Oh yeah, I took the client out for lunch, but we totally hit it off. He grew up in Manila, and so did my cousin, and we talked mostly about life than about business. So this is really good to hit it off. Or if you are scheduling a meeting with someone and you're quite nervous about meeting this person, you need to form a good relationship because good relationships make business work. And you can say, I hope I'm going to hit it off with this client or prospective client, or I hope we'll hit it off. Or when you go to an interview, I mean, sometimes you can go there, you can research a little bit on who the hiring manager is and find out what their interests are. You could incorporate that if you wanted to in your interview, saying, oh, I see in the background you have a picture of a dog. I have a golden retriever as well. Oh, really? That's interesting. So you did something to kind of hit it off with them. So that's what it means to hit it off. It's a great one. Okay, next one, hit or miss. Hit or miss. This is good. So think of a target. A target is that red and white circle, and you have your bow and arrow. And if you hit the target, you hit the target. You achieve the target. Or if you're completely off the target, and you hit the wall, well, you miss. So hit or miss. It just means you're either going to reach your target or you're not. It's like failure or success, basically. I'll read the meaning and example here for you. Hit or miss, something that may either succeed or fail, or something that's inconsistent. Oh, that's a good, I forgot about that meaning when I first brought it in. Something is inconsistent. So for example, for example, I'm a manufacturer, I make pens. My supplier supplies me with this eraser. So these erasers are really hit or miss, which means sometimes in the shipment, the erasers are perfect. Sometimes they're not. Or service at that restaurant is really hit or miss. Sometimes it's amazing, sometimes it's awful. So that's what it means with inconsistent. If something is hit or miss, it could be it's inconsistent, or it could be so important either we succeed or we fail. I'm going to read you the example here. The service at that restaurant is hit or miss depending on the day. Well, that was my example, but I wrote the book, so of course that was my example. So hit or miss depending on the day. So again, it could be inconsistent, or it could be either I'm going to fail or I'm going to completely succeed at something. So for example, if you're in an online meeting and your Wi-Fi is up and down, you can say, sorry, my Wi-Fi is really hit or miss today. Or sorry, the office network is really hit or miss. Sometimes it works great, sometimes it works horrible. That's how it is. Weather in London is really hit or miss. You're going to London for a business trip. What should I bring with me? What activities should I plan for the client as we go around London? Well, the weather's hit or miss. It's inconsistent. So that's very important. And then again, then that's about inconsistency, where hit or miss can come in through succeed or fail, saying, this product launch is a real hit or miss. Like it's either going to succeed great or fail epically. And there's probably no middle area. So it's either going to be fantastic or horrible. It's not going to be okay. And that's where we use hit or miss. Or working with this client is either hit or miss. So when we pitch, maybe I'm in marketing and we have a great client and I'm pitching the client my idea for their next product advertising campaign. And I pitch my idea, and my clients, sometimes they love what I do, or sometimes they hate what I do. So I could say, well, this client's kind of hit or miss. They're inconsistent. This product launch will be a hit or miss. meaning it's going to be a success or it's going to be a failure. That is very polarizing, or that client is very, one way or the other. There's kind of no in between, and that's hit or miss. Next one here is hit the bullseye. Now, I was just talking about a target, and the target is those red and white circle lines. Now, the very center of that target is called the bullseye. So we had hit or miss. You hit the target, you did great. Client signed the contract, you succeeded. You absolutely did not. You missed the target, and you failed, and the client did not sign the contract. So that's hit or miss. But again, hit the bullseye is if you have that target with the circles, and the red and white circles in the very center circle is called the bullseye. Now I'm going to read you the meaning and example of hit the bullseye. This is a great one. Meaning to achieve exactly what you intended, or to be correct about something. So two meanings: to achieve exactly what you intended, or to be correct about something. The example: the new ad campaign really hit the bullseye with our target audience. Okay, so you to hit the bullseye, I could be, for example, hiring a new assistant. And the new assistant, I could say, listen, I do need a lot of help, doing my accounting. And I need someone who could do quite a few different roles here because I'm quite small. And then the candidate says, oh, yes, absolutely. I understand you need this. So they kind of actually add more details that I even verbalized, but I was definitely thinking it. I'm like, yes, you hit the bullseye, which means you explained exactly what I was thinking or exactly what I need. Or again, if maybe you work in banking and in finance, and a client comes in and they're looking for a loan, and the terms need to be really good and the interest needs to be really good. And then you work in finance, you're the manager, and you say, listen, we can give you this plan. And then the client can say, wow, you hit the bullseye. This is exactly what we're looking at. We're looking at this interest rate. This is you've put on paper, or you've verbalized, you've said, you've created exactly what I was thinking. And that means you're exactly right about something. You hit the bullseye. It just means completely on target. And again, you're giving a big presentation. Perhaps you're at a conference, and you're a speaker in a conference, or giving a presentation at a conference. And if you're out there and you're presenting, and the crowd is so excited, everyone's like so excited about what you're doing, and you get lots of contracts signed that week and lots of interest coming in, you can say, wow, you hit the bullseye with your presentation. Like you did the best of the best of the best. You engaged everyone. It completely achieved what we set out to achieve. It's exactly, we hit our target perfectly right in the middle. Okay, we have four more to go in H, and then we have a little quiz. Now, our quiz is going to be a dialogue where I'm going to add regular words in a dialogue, and you have to decide which idiom could replace those regular words. Same little quiz I have in all my episodes here of this podcast, where I'm reading through my book. And my book, by the way, if you don't have my book, it's available on Amazon. It's 5-star rated. It's a great book. It's full of, and I'm only giving you, in this podcast series, I'm only giving you one quiz at the end of each letter. But in the actual book, there's 2 or 3 quizzes at the end of each letter. Then about 3 or 4 quizzes at the end of every collection of 5 or 6 letters. And then at the end, a massive big quiz. So the book is not just idioms. There's lots of quizzes, lots of meetings, lots of examples, lots of exercises. So to really lock in learning, I designed this so busy professionals can learn on their own without a teacher. Because I know so many of my professional students didn't have time always for classes. So I thought, okay, I'll make something that they can study on their own with. Okay, so let's take a look here. We're looking at hit the jackpot. Hit the jackpot. Well, a jackpot is if you're at a casino or you're gambling, and think of those machines where people put 50 cents or 25 cents in those machines. They pull the little crank bar, or they'll press a button, and if they win, then alarms go off and change flows out of that machine. That's hit the jackpot. That's to be incredibly successful and to come into fortune. I'm going to read the example and meaning for you here. Hit the jackpot: to have great success or to make a lot of money unexpectedly. Example: we hit the jackpot with our latest formula and sales have exceeded all expectations. Okay, let's say you are a manufacturer of skin cream, for example, and your team develops a beautiful type of skin cream that everyone loves. and this is one of your best selling skin creams. No, this is considered something where you hit the jackpot. So whatever formula you guys created, you didn't expect the success to be as big as it was. You didn't expect as many sales. You hit the jackpot. So hit the jackpot just means you're incredibly fortunate with either money or success. So another thing would be you could be talking to a colleague, and the colleague is talking about, maybe he's going to leave the company, go to another company. And why are you leaving? Well, I applied for this job at company A. I didn't think I'd get the job, but they hired me, and I'm getting 25% more money, and I'm getting an extra week holiday, and I get a company car. And you can go, wow, you hit the jackpot. Like, you won. Like, you really did well. So that's a great one. Now, again, talking about working in sales or in client relations, if you have a great client you work with, you can say, gosh, I hit the jackpot with this client. They always respond to my emails. They're always open to meeting when I want to meet with them. They always pay their invoices on time. They're gold. They're fantastic. So you can say, I hit the jackpot. I was very, very lucky with these clients. So hit the jackpot is to be very successful, could make a lot of money, or it could just be very, very lucky. And again, if you're talking with, if you're working in management and you're talking about staff, and perhaps your team did an incredible job on one big product launch, and then you want to thank them saying, listen, I hit the jackpot with you guys, meaning I won with having such a great team as you guys. So it's a really nice way of saying someone's lucky or fortunate or came into a lot of money, hit the jackpot. Next one here is hit the ground running. This is one of my favorite idioms to teach. And if you do watch a lot of my videos on YouTube, you'll notice when I do separate little idiom videos or business English idioms, I often do include this one because it's so incredibly useful in interviews. Hit the ground running is, and I always use the same example because the example's perfect. It's, imagine Tom Cruise or like a hero of an action film jumping out of an airplane with a parachute, chasing the villain, and the moment he hits the ground, the moment his feet hit the ground, he takes off his parachute and starts running after the villain. That's what it means, hit the ground running. It means he's not landing on the ground, checking for broken bones, folding up his parachute. No, he is completely, at the moment his feet hit the ground, he's running. So to hit the ground running is so great when you're interviewing. It means I'm immediately productive. I'm immediately efficient. It doesn't take me a long time to come up to speed. To come up to speed means to learn how things work. It doesn't take me a long time to train. At the moment I get hired, my first day of work, I'll already be producing something. I'll already be effective. I'll already be working. I won't sit around for a week being trained. No, I'll hit the ground running. I'm smart. I can pick things up. I can immediately be effective and contribute to a team. It's a great one. I'm going to read you my example and my meaning here. Hit the ground running, start a task with energy and skill. Example, we need someone who can hit the ground running and start contributing immediately. Okay, so when you're in an interview, the interviewer could say, why should we hire you over other candidates? Worst question ever, but they do ask this question. And you can say, listen, I know this role because I did this role with my previous job, so I can come into this role and I can hit the ground running from day one. Or I can hit the ground running with any new projects you give me because I'm very adaptable. It just means I don't need a lot of time to learn or to train. I'm immediately effective and immediately productive, immediately contributing to the team. So hit the ground running is fantastic. On the flip side, if you are the interviewer and you're interviewing quite a few candidates, you could say, listen, we have this massive project. This is why we're hiring you for this project. We don't have 2 weeks to train you. We need a candidate who can hit the ground running. Can you hit the ground running? Yeah, I can hit the ground running, which means from day one, I need you working. I need you to produce. I need you to actually be working, not this long training process. So hit the ground running means you're automatically or instantly producing results and contributing to something. Now, it doesn't have to just be used in interviews at all, not by any means. It could just be talking about other people who changed maybe roles. So someone went from sales into HR, And oh, how is Julia doing in HR? Oh, she hit the ground running in HR, which just means it didn't take her a long time to be productive and contribute in HR. So it's a really, really, really great one. Okay, two more to go here, and then we'll go to our little dialogue quiz. Okay, hit the nail on the head. Hit the nail on the head. So again, we had hammer out and we had hit the bullseye, right? So hit the nail on the head is very similar to hit the bullseye. So a nail, it's same pronunciation. The little bit of metal that you hammer into wood, that's a nail, but this is also a nail. So exact same pronunciation. So a nail and a hammer. And if you hit the nail on the head, you hit it with precision. So to hit the nail on the head means someone said exactly what you were hoping they'd say. They identified exactly what a company needs. This is very similar to hit the bullseye. That's it. So you go in and your company wants to launch a new product, and you need a really great marketing team. So a couple different marketing teams come in, and one of them was like, they didn't really hit the nail on the head, which means they didn't really provide a pitch that aligned with what we wanted. And the second one, guys came in like, no, they didn't really hit the nail on the head. They didn't really precisely target or align with our thoughts or ideas of this. But the third team came in and wow, they hit the nail on the head. This is exactly our vision. This is exactly what we did. So hit the nail on the head is to do exactly what someone expects or to do something with precision. I'll read you the example here. And the meaning. So to be exactly right about something, hit the nail on the head, to be exactly right about something. So again, you could have a member of staff and they're quite unhappy and they talk to management saying, listen, I'm not really happy here. I don't find this team's very productive and can you move me to a different department? And the manager goes, okay, well, I've noticed you're really quite good with computers. How about we, cross train you into working in IT? And then you can say, wow, you hit the nail on the head. Like, that's exactly what I want. That's exactly what I need. So it means someone's precision. It's precision, hitting that exactly someone's needs or wants or desires or what people expect. They hit that with precision. It's exactly a good fit. It's a great one. And the example here would be with your conscientious research, you really hit the nail on the head with your analysis. So this is great. You do a report on your market. And then your boss reads the report and say, wow, you hit the nail on the head. This is exactly what our market's about. This is exactly what we need. It's fantastic. And I used the word in there, conscientious. Conscientious just means you're very, very detailed and thorough and careful in the work that you do. That's a very good word. Okay, last one here is hold the fort. Hold the fort. Now, so many idioms come from sports, come from gambling, come from agriculture, and they also come from military. So hold the fort is one of these. So there's multiple forts. Fort's like like a fortress. Now hold the fort if one military team, one group of one band of people or army has to move out to go somewhere. Well, they need someone else to hold the fort to manage it while they're gone. This is all it means in business English, and we do use this a lot. So, the VP of sales is going on holiday. Okay, the VP of finance will hold the fort while he's gone, or the sales manager will hold the fort while he's gone, which means he'll just manage and take care of business. I'm going to read you the meaning an example here. Hold the fort, meaning to control a situation or to manage, and a place while someone's away or unavailable. Example, could you hold the fort while I step out of the meeting? So let's say I'm leading a meeting. Now, a synonym for leading a meeting is to chair a meeting. If you didn't know that, chair can be a verb. So if I'm chairing the meeting, but I got an important phone call about a client crisis, I got to leave the meeting, I can say, listen, can you hold the fort while I'm gone? I'm going to step out for 15 minutes. No problem. So then your colleague will step in and they'll run the meeting for you. So you're going to do someone else's job or cover for them or manage their team or whatever they need while someone's away. So hold the fort. So if you are interviewing, maybe you're interviewing for a management role, and the interviewer says, it doesn't look like you have any management experience. And you can say, well, I did hold the fort every time my manager was away on business trips, which means I managed the team. Okay, we did it. Now we're at the very end of Essential Business English Idioms, starting with H. Now it's quiz time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read you the quiz from my book, which is basically a dialogue, a business dialogue. And I'm going to use regular words, and you have to guess which idiom could fit that word or that sentence, and it can replace the word. So I'm going to go through, give you the basic dialogue. I'm going to highlight for you which words you need to replace. Of course, if you're listening to the podcast, I'll tell you which words you need to replace, and then I'll go through and read the answers for you. Okay, let's get started. This is a dialogue between a CEO and a new CFO. This is between Sandra and Charles. Okay. Charles says, Sandra, welcome to the team. We're excited to have you on board. I hope you're settling in well. Sandra replies, thank you, Charles. I appreciate the warm welcome. There's a lot to learn, but I'm ready to dive in. Charles says, that's good to hear. You have a difficult task. Our finances need serious restructuring. You have a difficult task. So a difficult task. Think of an idiom that's a difficult task. Sandra replies, I have a few ideas, but they're still a bit underdeveloped. I'd like to refine them before presenting a strategy. So she says, I have a few ideas, but they're a bit underdeveloped. What is an idiom for underdeveloped? Do you remember? Next one, Charles responds, that's fine. We'll take our time to produce a plan. We need a solid strategy to present to the board. Produce. Think of an idiom with produce. Sandra responds, absolutely. I also noticed that our competitors seem to have the advantage in cost efficiency. Okay, so I noticed our competitors seem to have an advantage in cost efficiency. Have an advantage or have the advantage. Think of an idiom there. Charles replies, I know, and you're busy. So let me know if you need more resources or support. I know you are busy. If someone's busy, what's an idiom for that one? Someone's busy. Sandra responds, I appreciate that. Also, just a warning, I'll be making some tough calls when it comes to budgeting. Just a warning. So, what's an idiom for warning? Can you remember that? Idiom for warning. Charles responds, understood. Just be prepared. If we don't turn things around, there will be consequences. So there will be consequences. Consequences of something. You think of an idiom there? There will be consequences. Sandra responds, no pressure, eh? But seriously, I'm up for the challenge. I'll start outlining a strategy and keep you posted. Charles responds, that's the spirit. Let's get to work. Okay, so that's the dialogue with the idioms that are not in there, but you need idioms. So now I'm going to go through and read the entire dialogue for you and try to think again of the idiom that fits in each spot, and then I'll give you the answers. Okay, now I'm going to go through without stopping. All right. Sandra, welcome to the team. We're excited to have you on board. I hope you're settling in well. Thank you, Charles. I appreciate the warm welcome. There's a lot to learn, but I'm ready to dive in. Charles responds, that's good to hear. You have a difficult task. Our finances need serious restructuring. I have a few ideas, but they're still a little underdeveloped. I'd like to refine them before presenting a strategy. That's fine. Let's take our time to produce a plan. We need a solid strategy to present to the board. Absolutely. I also noticed that some of our competitors seem to have an advantage in cost efficiency. I know you're busy, so let me know if there's any more resources or support. I appreciate that. Also, just a warning, I'll be making some tough calls when it comes to budgeting. Understood. Just be prepared. If we don't turn things around, there will be consequences. No pressure, eh? But seriously, I'm up for the challenge and I, I'll start outlining a strategy and keep you posted. That's the spirit. Let's get this work done, or let's get to work. Okay, so we had some great words in there. Think if you can think of the idiom, a difficult task. What's the idiom there? A difficult task, underdeveloped idiom. Produce, an idiom there. Have the advantage, an idiom. To be busy, another idiom. Warning, idiom. There will be consequences, idiom. Think you know some of them, or half of them, or all of them? Let's see. So now I'm going to go through, I'm going to read the dialogue with the idioms in place. Here we go. Sandra, welcome to the team. We're excited to have you on board. I hope you're settling in well. Thank you, Charles. I appreciate the warm welcome. There's a lot to learn, but I'm ready to dive in. That's good to hear. You have your work cut out for you. Our finances need serious restructuring. Have your work cut out for you. There you go. Sandra responds, I have a few ideas, but they're still a bit half baked, not fully developed, underdeveloped. half-baked. I'd like to refine them before presenting a strategy. That's fine. Let's take our time to hammer out a plan. Produce, hammer out. Let's take our time to hammer out a plan. We need a solid strategy to present to the board. Absolutely. I also noticed that our competitors seem to have the upper hand in cost efficiency. Upper hand, advantage in cost efficiency. I know you have a lot on your plate, so let me know if you need more resources or support. Have a lot on your plate. You're very busy. I appreciate that. Also, just a heads up, I'll be making some tough calls when it comes to budgeting. Just a heads up. Warning. Understood. Just be prepared if we don't turn things around. Heads will roll. Heads will roll. There will be consequences. No pressure, eh? But seriously, I'm up for the challenge. I'll start outlining a strategy and keep you posted. That's the spirit. Let's get to work. There you go. You did it. Hopefully, you did well with that quiz. And we went through a lot of essential, great idioms starting with H. I hope you found this useful. If you're listening to the podcast, great. I hope there's enough repetition in there that you would have absolutely locked in learning of some of these fantastic idioms starting with H. If you do just listen to the podcast, then just save it, come back to it, because on the screen you'll have all those words written.